Here is a short how-to video. We will be addressing an issue with a leak at our pump. At this location, we see some water leaking from this area, so we will remove the knob and the fitting. I'll show you how to do that. First, let me show you some tools that I'm using. You have a few options to get this removed. A few of the options are an adjustable jaw wrench, sometimes known as a channel lock pliers, a regular pair of adjustable jaw pliers, or what I will be using today, which is an adjustable, sometimes called a crescent wrench. So the first step is to remove the silver adjustment knob. Simply twist it counterclockwise. There may be some resistance there because there's a spring. So start going counterclockwise. Loosen the knob until it comes off. There's also a spring underneath. Make sure you do not lose that spring. It's two pieces. Put that to the side. Now you can see there's a stem sticking out, and there is a hex on the outside of this fitting that we need to remove. Again, we will loosen this by turning it counterclockwise. So I'm going to put my wrench on there, make sure it's adjusted to the size of the hex, turn it counterclockwise. You just need to break the fitting free, and there will still be a small amount of tension. Sometimes you can do this by hand, sometimes you may need to turn it a few more times to loosen it. So we'll go ahead and do that. Turn it a few more times to loosen it. Let's make sure it's tight here. And let's see. So I've turned it a few more times, and you can loosen this by hand at a certain point. When you remove this fitting, some water might come out. That's normal, and that's okay. Now we take a look at this fitting, and there are two O-rings on it. There may be a leak due to deterioration, tearing, misalignment, or breakage of these O-rings. So let's go ahead and look at replacing those. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I like to use a small electronics screwdriver. I'll simply take the screwdriver and put it underneath the O-ring, kind of give it a small twist, and roll that O-ring up. So now you take the O-ring off. This one is actually in okay condition. We'll do the same for the large O-ring. You get that screwdriver kind of under there. Now you slide it up and under, and give it a little bit of a roll up the fitting. There you go. Replacement of the fittings is the reverse of the removal process. You probably don't need the screwdriver. Just take the fitting, roll it down, rolling it down on each side equally until it fits into the groove. Same for the front O-ring. Roll it around until it snaps into the groove. Make sure your O-ring is equally aligned in the groove. It's not rolled up across this top lip. It's not rolled back. Make sure there are no tears in the O-ring from your installation process. Go ahead, insert the fitting back into the cavity. Start the fitting by hand, just so you make sure your threads are not misaligned. Then go ahead and go back with your wrench, tighten it down. When your wrench stops turning because the fitting is bottomed out, give your fitting about a 1/16 more of a turn. No more is necessary. The O-ring is sealing inside of that cavity. Just make sure you're fitting. The hex is flush up against the body of the pump. That should be sufficient. Go ahead and install your spring just onto this stem. It should be able to just sit there, and then the threaded adjustment knob goes over the spring and threads on to that threaded stem. Give it a little bit of a snug down. Now when you start up your pump and purge the air out, you will need to adjust this knob to adjust the pressure on your pump, usually to 1000 psi or as your desired pressure for your system is required.